Coming up, we'll hear how a hypnotherapist in the Cotswolds is helping NHS workers to get a good night's sleep. That is all on the way. And we also, of course, mentioned the big night in Radio Gloucestershire. Right, it's 18 minutes past 12, Friday afternoon with Dominic Cross and the team. The team being producer extraordinaire Sophia Franklin, Nikki Price, of course. And up next, going to hear from a hypnotherapist in the Cotswolds who's helping NHS workers get a good night's sleep. I think we could all do with a good night's sleep at the moment. We'll catch up with Dipti in just a minute on BBC Radio Gloucestershire. That's Dipti Tait after Calling the Gang. Here on BBC Radio Gloucestershire. One of the things I wanted to talk about as well is just how people are at the moment. And I think somebody who's going to help me out with that has got a particular perspective to come from. And I've spoken to her a few times before. A few weeks ago, we heard from Dipti Tait from the Cotswold Hypnotherapy Practice. Dipti has just signed up as an NHS volunteer, but had yet to be called into action as a phone check-in and chat buddy. We thought it'd be good to find out how she's getting on and whether things have moved on. Dipti's on the line this afternoon, I should say now. Hello there, Dipti, all right?
Hi, Dom. How are you?
I'm very well indeed. Still laughing at that little clip from Dom Jolly. We need comedians at this time, don't we?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you've got to have a sense of humour, haven't you?
Tell us a little bit about you. You were one of the, many thousands of people who signed up, and I mentioned that, and the system was overloaded to volunteer in some way. What's happened since we last spoke, if that's okay?
Yeah, so I've signed on for 173 hours now. But as yet, I've had a couple of false alarm phone calls, but nothing significant as yet. So I decided to do my own thing instead because I was a bit... I didn't know whether it was going to happen. So, yeah, it was a shame.
Okay, it's interesting. You're not the first person to say that who's signed up and not had the call. Interesting. You signed up for 173 hours. Did you say?
Yeah. So basically, you have to basically toggle a thing to say that you're on duty, and then it kind of makes you available. And so I've been doing that every day. Like a good girl. But yeah, nothing.
Oh, that's great. So what you say you've found a different way to help out using your professional skills. How is that? What have you been doing?
Well, basically, I've realised that sleeping has been disrupted mainly, and I've been talking to lots of NHS people, so nurses, doctors, not just NHS people, but generally people, so my clients, and they've all reported that their sleep has been really disturbed. Have you found that as well?
I think we're all finding it, and I haven't, in any way, I'm not comparing to people that work in the NHS. They've got lots of reasons to not sleep in terms of just what they're doing on a daily basis. But I think we're all being affected by this, aren't we, in different ways? I quite often waking up at 2 a.m. going, what? Hold on, was it a dream? What's going on at the moment? I think we're all suffering, aren't we?
Yeah, so actually, people have also been saying that their dreams have become more weird, more vivid, more bizarre. And I thought it would be really good to explain why that's happening to people, so at least, you get kind of a good understanding from, like, my perspective from being a hypnotherapist, because obviously sleeping is one of my expert areas. So a lot of people have been asking me, how, one, do you get back to sleep once you've been interrupted by a sudden bad dream or something? Someone else has been asking, why do I feel so tired after a good night's sleep? Someone else wanted to know how does hypnosis work while you sleep? So I thought it would be quite good to just, give you a bit of information.
Yeah.
So basically, obviously, we've had sudden change happen to us. It was stuff that we haven't predicted or planned for, and that can cause a lot of challenges. So, people working from home, as you know, not just working from home, but also having to work from home and homeschool at the same time. I mean, that must be just quite chaotic where no one's got personal space anymore. Also, this whole worry about the health issues that we've got going on, plus money, job security, furloughing, social distancing, worrying about elderly relatives. All of this worry and stress goes into something what we call a stress bucket. It's like a metaphorical stress bucket in your brain. Obviously, it's not a real bucket, but just for visual purposes, imagine this bucket in your brain, and everything that is uncertain or ambiguous or, worrisome can go into this bucket. And because there are more and more stresses at the moment, especially with all this uncertainty, the bucket can get overloaded. And then actually, when we go to sleep at night, we go into a system called REM, which you've probably heard about, which is rapid eye movement. When you're in REM, that's really where the brain is emptying the stress bucket. So what happens is your brain's got this kind of allocation of REM, but if there's more in the bucket than normal, it will basically disturb the sleep because your brain's kind of a little bit overloaded, if that makes sense. So it will keep waking you up at night. And your brain's kind of saying, oh, wait a minute, there's more in the bucket. Oh, hang on a minute, I need to go back in and do more. But REM is also known as dreaming. So that's why people are remembering their dreams and getting more vivid.
Wow, it's almost like we're over processing everything, isn't it? Sort of thinking things too much, and we're trying to deal with one thing, and then something else is coming into our mind, and then another thing, and then we go, as you say, we go into overload. I know you're on Twitter and social media at diptitait.com. Have lots of people kind of been asking for advice at this time like that?
Yeah, I've been more busier than usual, actually, because obviously when things change like this, it does cause a lot of confusion and unrest, uncertainty and worry. And when, people get worried, obviously, I'm not trying to, profit off worry, of course, but I'm trying to help people.
Yeah.
And I guess what happens also at this sort of time when there's high levels of worry is our imagination can get very hyperactive and overactive. And this can have a trigger on the emotional part of our mind. So that's why we can find ourselves emotionally overwhelmed. There's actually a really good exercise that I do with people to help them realise what their imagination is like. It's called the lemon exercise. So it might be quite fun to do that if you want me to.
Yeah, sounds great. So what's it called? The what exercise?
It's called the lemon exercise.
Okay, that sounds great. It sounds great. Can you do it very briefly for us?
Yes. So imagine you've got a big Sicilian lemon on a chopping board, right, in front of you. You've got a knife and you're cutting it open into wedges, and then you grab a wedge. Instead of putting it into your gin and tonic, you decide to put it into your mouth and squeeze it so you can absolutely taste that lemon juice hitting the back of your throat, the back of your saliva glands. Okay, so what happened? Anything?
I've been using my pen to cut the lemon in my virtual mind. It's tingling a little bit and it's woken me up a little bit.
So that's interesting, because where's your lemon, Dom?
Where has it gone?
Yeah, where is the actual lemon?
Lemon's just kind of where it's kind of where it was. It's on my little virtual chopping board in the studio here because I've squeezed it into my mouth, and the lemon, all the peel's still there.
But if it's changed something in your physiology, you can feel the tingling. Get my point? There is no lemon.
No, exactly. No, you're right. And it's also it's like a distraction technique, isn't it? Which is great. So yeah, I like that. Well, I'll keep that for the weekend. We like that a lot. Listen, we need to leave it there, but people can get hold of Sleep Deeply audio from you as well. Is that right?
Yes. So go to my website diptitait.com/shop. You'll find Sleep Deeply, and I've got a free offer for your listeners. If you basically go as you're going to buy it, but then in the offer code put BBC, and that's hard to crack, I know. If you put in BBC, then you'll be able to download that 7-day resource for free.
All right. Lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much, as always, Dipti Tait. Thank you. You have a good weekend. And there's lots of food for thought there. We're going to be talking. Well, in fact, we've got somebody from Stroud, Chloe Cox, who has recorded a wonderful dawn chorus for us today. So I think that could be a good way of getting through this as well, listening to that in a meaningful, mindful way. Thank you, Dipti.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take care. DiptiTait.com as well. Cotswold hypnotherapy practice as well, just after 12:30.